All right, so in this video, we're going to take a peek at some of the internals of Git. Specifically, I'm going to show you a command called git hash object that I never really use except when I'm teaching, but I do think it explains a lot about how Git works. Now remember what we said in the last video, Git is a key value data store. We can give it any sort of information, including just a simple letter or a sentence, let alone files like we normally do, and it will give us back a unique key. So this command git hash object is one way of doing that. We give it some data, and then it will give us back a unique key, a corresponding SHA-1 hash based upon that data. Remember how a hashing function works. We don't really care about the internals and how it works, but we care about the fact that you give it some input, it doesn't matter the size, it gives us an output that is always 40 hexadecimal digits. So this example here, git hash object, and then a file, is going to take the content from a file, and then it returns a unique SHA-1 hash that would be used to store our object, but it does not actually store anything in this form. So this won't store anything for us, but there's a variant I'll show you where we can tell Git, actually store this information, and it will create a new entry in the objects directory. Remember, we talked about it. The objects directory is where all the information eventually is stored. All of our files and their contents and all this stuff we're about to talk about. So git hash object on its own is not going to be that useful just like this. But the next thing I want to show you is a somewhat complicated looking variant. This allows us to hash something that is not a file. This right here, echo hello. If you're not familiar with the echo command, if I just echo anything, it's just returned right back to me. Echo, 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 and so on, except only one time. So we can take that output, which is just hello in this case, and then we can pipe it over to git hash object. And we pass in the -- standard in. That's one of the options that we can pass to tell git hash object that we want it to hash from the standard in, meaning hash this hello. It's a very complicated way of telling it, we don't have a file for you to hash, just hash this right here. So let me demonstrate this, all right? So I'll echo something. We can do hi, and then pipe, and then git hash object, and then -- standard in. And notice it's giving me back a SHA-1 hash, a checksum. It's 40 characters hexadecimal. And every time that I call it with that same line, every time I hash hi, I should always get the same output. Remember, it's deterministic. The same input should always yield the same output. So I could try this with something else. What would be another example? How about hello? We get a different output, same length, 40 characters, hexadecimal, but very, very different. So at this point, I actually haven't even initialized a Git repo. So the command that I'm showing you there is like a Git utility in the same way that I can run git init anywhere. My machine just knows git init. I can run git hash object anywhere. But now I'm in a new folder and I'm going to run git init. It's not a repo. And then over in VS Code, I've opened the .git directory. So I'm showing you the contents here, right? If I do ls.git, it now exists. This is the initial state of .git. Objects, it has these two folders, info and pack, but they don't have anything in them, and they don't really matter to us right now. So objects does not have any of our content in it. It's just the blank object slate. All right? So now if I try running one of these commands again, like echo hello, pipe, git hash object from the standard in, right, we see that output. I just want to make it very clear, objects is not changing at all. We're not storing anything in Git. This is just saying, hello Git, if you were to store this object or this information, just hello, if you were to store it, what key would it be stored under? And that's the output, but it doesn't store it. However, if we add on this additional option, -w, I think it's just -write, W for write, this is going to tell Git to actually store our object. Actually take this information, in our case, the string hello, take that word, hash it with SHA-1, and then store that. So after we run this command, whether we do hello or some other string, I'm going to do hello because it's simple. And I kind of recommend that you follow along if you want to with the same exact strings, so hello as well, because it will make a more consistent experience for you, because this is going to come back. All right, so if I just add in the -w, just want to verify, prove, nothing in there. Now, we got this hash as our output. Let's hit enter. We get the same output, but now if we go to objects, it might take a moment. Well, for whatever reason, VS Code is not wanting to refresh and show me. Let me try refreshing here. Okay, there we are. Whew. Okay, so it is indeed here. There's a new folder, CE. Well, that's a coincidence. Let me show you that output again. Of course, I wiped the screen. But if we run this command, that hash that we got starts with CE. CE and then 013. So what do we have? CE, and then what do you know? 0136, and so on. So there's this entry in the objects folder, and there's a folder inside CE, just 2 characters, and then the rest, the 38 remaining digits, are used to name this file. So this file is the most basic way that Git stores content. This file actually contains our content, and in this case, it was just hello, but it's been compressed and encrypted, so we can't read it, right? It's stored as binary in there, but it is in there. We have successfully stored our first piece of data in our Git database. The very, very manual way. We almost never would do this. I can't imagine really doing this outside of teaching, but I hope that this explains a tiny bit. We're not done. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle here, but I hope you understand that this Git hash object with this annoying syntax is taking our input hello, which always returns the exact same output from SHA-1, this output. But we told it to write with -w previously, and Git took that and it created a file for us. It's not exactly the same name, right? It's 38 of 40 digits that are the same, and then the first 2 digits were used to create the folder. That's just what Git does. So the objects directory, if we had 2 hashes that happened to start with CE, they would share this folder. But then if we have another hash that starts with something else, which I'm about to do here, what should we do? Let's do goodbye as well. So echo goodbye, and then pipe that, basically send the output to hash object and tell it to expect standard in. So I'm not writing this yet, but we get DD7E. So when I add this W, I'm telling Git, all right, store this, store goodbye. So it does this all the time, but not with strings, with files. But I'm telling it, store goodbye. So we're going to end up with a folder called DD, and then a file, 7E1, blah, 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 all the way to A6. And inside will be a binary, compressed, encrypted version of goodbye that we won't be able to read, at least not with human eyes. All right, so I'm going to add that -w and hit enter. And of course, we get the same output because it was the same input. It's deterministic. We should always get that same hash, assuming we give it the same exact input. So not an extra space, not an extra, uppercase, lowercase, hidden character, exactly the same. So I'm going to have to refresh here. There we are. Now we have DD and then 7E1. Okay, so I have 2 strings, 2 pieces of text that I have successfully put into Git. In the next video, I'll show you how to get them out using another Git command that is pretty rarely used.